The Feast of Unleavened Bread, Part 1, Exodus 12:17 through 20. Why unleavened bread? The Passover marks the beginning of the days of unleavened bread. What was the purpose of the 7-day observance? And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day in which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand the Lord brought you out of this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. Exodus 13:3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therein, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days. Neither shall there anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificest the first day at even, remain all night until the morning. Deuteronomy 16:3 through 4. Also see Exodus 13:7 through 10. As stated in the verses, the Feast of Unleavened Bread memorialized Israel's deliverance from a life of slavery under Pharaoh after the slaying of the Passover lamb. What relevance do the days of unleavened bread have to Christians? Deliverance from a life of sin under Satan after the slaying of Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. 1 Corinthians 5:7 and 8. There was and is nothing wrong with eating things containing yeast at other times, but for the purpose of the days of unleavened bread it was used as a symbol of sin. It was also sometimes used as a metaphor for sinful pride and hypocrisy. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Matthew 16:11 and 12. God does nothing in vain. All of the Old Testament observances have Christian applications. That was the entire purpose, to preview what was to come in due time. The dual meaning of the God-commanded biblical holy days. The spring, from Jerusalem's perspective, in the northern hemisphere, holy days symbolize the events related to the first coming of Jesus Christ. The days of unleavened bread, the removal of sin from the lives of the converted, repentant people. Exodus 12:15, 1 Corinthians 5:7 and 8. Exodus 12:15 through 20 tells us that the Feast of Matzah is to last for 7 full days, in which the sons of Israel are not to eat any bread with yeast, and they must eat matzah, unleavened bread. In all the ancient world, every housewife knew that yeast made the dough to rise. It was also seen, as it is in our day, that a man full of pride is said to be puffed up. In this feast, leaven pictures sin, as it did, of course, at the Passover meal, which is eaten on the first day of unleavened bread. What God is demanding from his people Israel is that they are to be especially conscious of their calling to walk in holiness. It was not enough that God would free Israel from Egyptian slavery. They had to follow his ways and be a holy people unto their God. What this meant for them was that their hearts would have to be totally dedicated to God, something that we can identify with today. What the Passover Feast of Unleavened Bread pictures is Israel free of sin. This is very timely and pointed for us, And this is one of the reasons why the Feast of Unleavened Bread is not done away with. Exodus 12:15. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread, and on the first day you must remove leaven from your houses. For whoever eats anything leavened from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. Verse 15 explains that for 7 days there must not be any leaven, even in the house. If anyone would eat regular bread, that person would be cut off from Israel. The end of Part 1, The Feast of Unleavened Bread.